CIPD is the professional body for HR and people development. So we carried out a survey, first of all, of HR, looking at their health and wellbeing provision, and that's quite a big survey. When we asked them what does your health and wellbeing activity focus on, we gave them a whole number of different areas, including support for people experiencing pregnancy and baby loss, and only a quarter had a framework, such as policies, line manager training, guidance, even awareness raising, so just a quarter, so really big gap. And then we surveyed employers as well, around 2,000 sort of senior HR and decision makers, and that was this year, not long ago, and around a third had an actual policy around pregnancy and baby loss.
We've seen in our own research that a well-supported and well-looked-after employee is likely to be much more loyal and to stay in the workplace and feel supported and listened to, and that, you know, that might be supported in many different ways, and we'll go on to talk about that in a bit more detail. On the flip side of that, if you don't feel supported and you don't feel that you've been listened to or heard in the workplace, then you may well leave, and you know that can be a sort of a key event, life event that causes many very talented female employees to leave work. So actually, you know, it should be on the table for employers in terms of their diversity and inclusivity agenda. If you want to keep good women in the workplace, then you need to have family-friendly policies.
Nobody wants to feel like people are avoiding them, or people are kind of, you know, not making eye contact with you because they're feeling uncomfortable. People who've experienced loss already carry a huge amount of guilt about other people, and they're always very protective of kind of saying, you know, I can see you, Keeley, doing it as well. And I'm telling you my story, and I've packaged it up, and I'm just holding myself in because I don't want everyone else here to feel uncomfortable, because if I let that emotion come through, then I'm going to have to look after you, and you don't have the capacity to do that. You're kind of going, this is protecting for me. So actually just opening that conversation up, just letting people know, I'm here for you, it's okay. And I think what you said is really important, that grief doesn't go away. It's not something that you ever overcome. It's a part of your life.
The 3 days shouldn't be viewed as enough. I think it's a real milestone, because I think employers really sit up and pay attention when there's compliance, so they've got to comply with a piece of legislation. So it's really, really important to focus the minds of organisations on the need for this kind of support, but it's a baseline, and I think organisations shouldn't be prescriptive, and they should base the kind of support that people need and the kind of paid leave, whether they want to call it compassionate, special leave, they should base it on what that individual needs, and that will completely depend on their experience of loss. Act right now. I think review all your policy provision. So what do you have in terms of health and wellbeing support, and what leave provision do you have? Do you actually mention the issue explicitly? I think that's really important, because I think a lot of organisations, even if they think, oh, this hasn't been on our radar, we don't have anything, actually you might have some support. If you audit everything, you might find that you have got some provision that could help, like access to an employee assistance programme that does cater for that specific kind of loss. And also you might be quite generous in some areas of paid compassionate leave and so on. But you need to really make it explicit and be very proactive in terms of what you offer for people who've experienced baby or pregnancy loss.
Fully supportive, and you know, it is a first step. It's probably not enough, as it said. You know, it's probably not quite enough, but actually, it's much better than nothing. So we think we can get this through, and if employers employers can then enhance that as a sort of, you know, this is the minimum, but actually employees are going to go the extra mile, and that will make a massive difference. And really to, you know, Lee's point earlier, you know, no two experiences are the same. All of your employees going through this will experience it differently. Some will want to come back to work straight away, actually. They might not want those days. They might need those days further down the line, and that's fine. So I think we think it's great. We think it's a really great starting point. We want employers to sort of do more than that. But we are 100% fully supportive, just making sure that employers build in that sort of flexibility and that compassion, I think.
Sort of more broadly as well, training for managers, it is important anyway because they've got a role where they're managing people. But it's also important with recruitment and who we are as an employer. So it's something, being a pregnancy and parent at work champion is something we can talk about in our recruitment process. It's important for people, and we've seen a change as well with what candidates feel comfortable about asking about when they're thinking about changing roles, joining a company. People want to know about how supportive an organisation is with taking time off to have families. How do you support them? And so this is something we can talk about at the recruitment stage with candidates. You know, it's something we can celebrate and be proud of. Do as much research as you can on your own organisation. What's relevant for your workforce? What other policies have you got in place that you can give context to why it's important to bring this in, which really gives weight to when you need to discuss what you will make available from a policy perspective for senior stakeholders, and it gives context and it gives weight to those discussions. And also speak to experts. We spoke to Tommy's and made sure that the language that's already been spoken about, what language and terminology to use, but what's the right language so that everyone is comfortable with reading what we set out to commit to.
So back in 2020, we did some research to understand actually what was the gap in terms of how we can support people going through pregnancy and baby loss in the workplace. And the single biggest gap was actually training line managers to have open and honest supportive conversations. And many HR teams and line managers are at a loss, depending on their own personal experiences. And it's quite a high expectation to actually think that people will be able to have these quite complex, difficult conversations. So that for us was a real sort of light bulb moment in a way of thinking, well, how can Tommy's do more to support companies then to upskill their line managers? So we developed pregnancy and parenting at work, which the main bulk of that is an e-training program. So, and it has been designed to specifically to do that, so to upskill line managers and people in HR to have those open, supportive communication. So it's an e-training platform. There's a module on pregnancy, normal pregnancy, healthy pregnancy journey, and then we have specific modules on loss as well. So we cover miscarriage, stillbirth, and premature birth as well. And it's being designed obviously for the person going through that experience, but also for dads and partners too. So it's very inclusive in its approach, and it's sort of backed up with additional supportive information. And we've had really good response. It's been early days. We just launched it last summer, so summer 2021.